From even the shadow of the Lord's names, if one somehow chants them but once, or if they merely enter the ears, liberation is easily attained. If even after hearing how the previous verse defines liberation, one still wants to know the means to attain it, from the personal statement one can learn that devotees of the personality of Godhead achieve liberation without separate endeavor as a mere byproduct of the practice of bhakti. Furthermore, one's service to the holy names of the Lord need not even be pure. Simply Namabhash, the shadow of chanting the Lord's names, earns one liberation.
So all of us, yesterday Gaurahari asked when I shared this with him, and he said, so now that I'm chanting, what will I become in the next life if I don't perfect? So my Prabhu was saying, because liberation is already attained by even Nabha stage. So what to speak of whatever we are doing. So we are already there. The Lord has already blessed with all the best. But we have to focus on something more higher. Yes, Amritanandini Mataji. Amritanandini Mataji, are you there today? Nine Sundari Mataji, you want to take over?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Sorry.
Sorry.
Gayatri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Liberation, please understand, is attractive to those whose discrimination is poor. This is evident even from the opinions of the same Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures that the proponents of liberation accept as authorities.
Leela Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Moksha, liberation, is the removal of all misery or the stopping of illusory activities or the self-realization that comes from abandoning the false identities created by Maya.
So they are trying to explain how this moksha or liberation that people talk about is just that first step, or just a starting or a byproduct. Like it's nothing big deal about it when we compare it to the results of what the service can give. So it's just removing of that false identity. We will get to know that we are not this body, we are the soul. So that is from day one in ISKCON we have been taught. So we are already liberated when we enter ISKCON, that you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. That's the knowledge of liberation.
The happiness that arises from directly perceiving the true identity of the Jiva soul, the entity composed of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, is actually meager. Priya Mataji, if you are not reading, then Lakshmi Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
That eternity, the reality of pure self, is called Brahman. It is devoid of qualities, free from attachment, unchanging and inactive.
But the personality of Godhead is the supreme Brahman, the super soul, the absolute controller of everything. His body is the concentrated essence of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He is an ocean of superlative qualities.
So here those Upanishads are giving knowledge about soul and super soul, which we all have read through Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. So we all got introduced to this. So this is what is being spoken to Gopakumar now. He's getting that knowledge of soul and who is the super soul and what's that connection.
So after going through so much journey, now he's reading that.
That's what I'm saying. What is our good fortune, right, Mataji, sitting here?
If Ritu Mataji is not then Shashikala Mataji, please.
Yes, Mataji. Contrary natures, like having qualities and having no qualities, conjoin in him. Since impersonal Brahman is an infinite opulence of the personality of Godhead, the difference between him and Brahman is well established.
Sujana Mataji.
So much explanation is given so that nobody gets confused between the soul and the super soul.
Sujana Mataji. If not, then Vasantaras Mataji.
Two beautiful lotus feet, therefore, embody the concentrated essence of happiness. Those who realize Him through pure devotion surely attain that instant bliss.
Vallabi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The 2 feet of Sri Krishna are considered like a piece of sugar because they are joyful and are a source of all joy. Brahman, however, is only joyful.
So this statement, you can understand when they say Brahman is only joyful, means he is not the source of all joy. Krishna is not only joyful to be his personality, but he is the source of all joy. So that is the major difference between the super soul and the soul.
Here, Brahman is super soul, Mataji.
Brahman is the jiva.
Jiva.
Parabrahman is the supreme soul, the super soul.
Okay.
So here they're mentioning, when they say Brahman, they're mentioning it to the soul, to the jivatma.
Okay. Sirisha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. If the identity of the jiva, the individual self, were the same as that of the Supreme Brahman, then the jiva would be the full embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He would be the personality of Godhead himself.
Yeah, if he was so great, then he would be the Lord himself, right? So that difference is very clearly made.
Neeta Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. But the jivas are recognized as integral parts of the personality of Godhead. They are like the network of light that shines forth from the dense mass of light called the sun.
Payal Mataji.
In relation to the Supreme Lord, the eternally existing jivas are distinct, like the rays of the sun, the spark of the fire, or the waves of the oceans.
Richa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Krishna. By the Supreme Lord's eternally existing potency called Mahayoga, who is an aspect of his spiritual splendor, these jivas always stand separate from him.
Neeru Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Therefore, saintly authorities consider the jivas both different and non-different from the Supreme. As a rule, even when the jivas are liberated, the difference endures.
So most of the Mayavadis, when they speak, they get merged with the Brahman, the effulgence. But here it is clearly said, even after that so-called merging and all that, the difference endures, the difference remains. So this
continues.
Yes, Mataji, you were trying to say something. Sorry.
Mataji, I just said, so the difference continues.
There
the is difference. It doesn't become null or void.
Yes, perfect. Has anyone not yet read yet? Okay. The original forms of the jivas are made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. But by the beginningless illusion of Krishna's Maya, the jivas forget their true identities and wander deluded in the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
When a jiva is liberated by knowledge of his true self, Maya ceases to act on him, and his wandering comes to an end. He then perceives himself to be full of bliss as a small portion of the Supreme.
Gayatri Mataji.
Mataji, I'm coming.
Oh, yes, okay. Amrita Nandini Mataji, please read.
In all spheres of activity, the results one achieves match the discipline one has practiced. Thus, in the liberation attained by knowledge of one's own self, the result is meager.
So here they're saying the Jnana Yogis or the other paths who take up to come to this liberation stage, they're by their own endeavor, but whatever they've attained is very little compared to those who are going to come through the devotional service in the Sangha of the devotees, through the Bhaktis, the Bhakti path. Whoever comes, what they are going to attain is very, very higher. The difference is given where Sishupal and all those people like the demons who got liberation, they did not attain the same as the devotees of the Lord. So that difference is made here.
Mataji, liberation is the same as that merging in the Brahman?
Now at this point, that is the terminology used for liberation, Mataji, just the initial stage of merging into Brahman. Or even like, even if those people got that Sarupya Mukti, Sarujya Mukti and all that, but the Bhakti Yogis, the real devotional service, whoever are doing, do not aspire for that because they are going to get something more higher. That's what the Vedas are going to talk about.
Gayatri Mataji.
Fearing the torments of material existence and lacking the taste for loving exchanges in true spiritual life, seekers of liberation profusely glorify liberation, just as persons aspiring for heaven praise heaven.
So here another mention is given in the Tapaloka. All those people became Narayana and all those forms they took up, right? The Sanat Kumaras. What is the greatness in that? So they're trying to say if there is no loving exchange between the soul and the super soul, what is the point of having even a four-armed form as Vishnu? So,
Leela Mataji.
But only in devotional service does the highest degree of happiness naturally arise. That happiness is the right reward for those who practice service, the Supreme Lord's all blissful lotus feet.
Jai.
The highest degree indicates greatness that has reached its ultimate peak. But in fact, that endless happiness has no limit.
Here they are trying to explain further in the commentary that parakashta, the highest happiness, there cannot be a limit for a devotee when he is in that loving exchange with the Lord. It never has a cessation. It keeps on increasing like that. Anandham Budivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. So all this actually Mahaprabhu has given us in that Sikshashtakam. What happens when we become a devotee of Lord's of Krishna.
Lakshmi Mataji.
That happiness increases endlessly. It is limitless and supremely great. In contrast, the happiness of Brahman found in liberation never increases, but it is limited.
Because it is limited, yes. So when they merge into that effulgence, there is nothing more than that. That's it. You're just a light or a spark or something, you just stay there. There's nothing happening more than that. But for a devotee, it's endless and increasing more and more and more. Jai.
Anita Mataji.
The Supreme Lord is also the Supreme Soul and the Supreme Brahman. Since they are all the same one being, they cannot be considered different members of the same category.
Shashikala Mataji, please.
Yes, Mataji. The Jivas always have their own identities different from that of the Supreme, but they are parts of the Supreme and cannot exist separate from Him. And this rules out the difference called Vijatiya.
So the point that they are different, right? The Vijatiya means of members of different categories. So the Jiva is not completely different. That's how he's explaining further that he's simultaneously one and non-different from the different and non-different from the Lord. That aspect of the jnana is giving.
Sujana Mataji. Sujana Mataji is not there. Vasantaras Mataji, please.
We fully approve of this philosophical doctrine called Bede- Be- Beda, 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 Beda. Indeed, when it is presented with logical argument, everything about it is certain and irrefutable.
Vallabi Gopi Mataji.
We scriptures are always accepted as authoritative. Our words and the words and behavior of great souls are standard evidence in all circumstances.
Sirisha Mataji.
So we say Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, right? The Shastra itself is speaking now. So that is the ultimate authority.
And many historical accounts support these statements we have made. To presume, therefore, that our words are merely overstated praise is certainly unreasonable.
So if you think that what we are saying is not true, then there is another problem coming to it. They're going to say what's going to happen if you don't believe what we say.
Neeta Mataji.
If a, if a theorizer acts with such a presumption, nonetheless, it will fill him with atheistic delusions and cast him into hells, one after another, from which he will not be able to escape.
So those who do not believe the Shrutis and Smritis and do not accept the conclusions, they will go into this atheistic delusion and cast him into hells. Wow. So could you read this also, Mataji, from Narada Purana?
Yes, Mataji. Oh, best of Brahmanas, the Puranas authoritatively teach all aspects of religious life. Those who say that these Puranic teachings are mere arthavada are sure to suffer in hell.
If they think that is flowery language and they don't surrender, and they are going to suffer in hell.
Payal Mataji.
Indeed, how can the scriptures glorify liberations, which override demons are seen to achieve? Demons, those same scriptures condemned killers even of the cows and brahmanas.
So, yeah.
Richa Mataji. Neeru Mataji. Neeru Mataji.
Richa Mataji, I think.
She's there? I don't think.
Mataji, you called my name, sorry.
Sorry, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Richa Mataji, please.
Saints and demons are, in all respects, opposite in nature. It is therefore only fitting that they be opposite in their discipline and goals.
Neeru Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. One becomes saintly only by devotion to Krishna. That is the highest means of spiritual attainment, and it brings one to the highest goal, Lord Krishna's lotus feet.
And for those great souls who know the truth and have a taste for the nectar of pure devotional service, that nectar of serving at Lord Krishna's lotus feet is itself the goal.
That goal cannot be achieved by one who cares for knowledge, renunciation, or material success. It is only for one who, by Sri Krishna's mercy, depends on Krishna's devotional service and nothing else.
Hare Krishna. This is coming to the essence now. So much explanation is given on the greatness of devotional service. Wow. And could you read this highlighted, the ending, the highlight?
Yes, Mataji. Lord Vishnu should always be remembered and never forgotten. All injunctions and prohibitions are servants of these two rules. When one remembers Lord Vishnu, one has fulfilled all Vedic injunctions, because remembering him awakens all auspiciousness. And when one forgets him, one has violated all prohibitions, because all sins are born from that forgetfulness. Thus, rather than strive for anything else, everyone should endeavor to follow these two rules.
This is the conclusion of all that explanation. Smartavya satatam vishnur vismartavya na jatu chit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur yatayor apikinkaraha.
Amrita Nandini Mataji.
Ritual duties distract one from devotional service. Renunciation dries up one's transcendental taste for her, and knowledge can do her harm. But these three, when purified, faithfully serve her.
So each one is seeing as a personality, like for the rituals, devotional service. If we do this like a ritualistic way, they can dry us up and they'll do more harm to us than actually getting some favorable results. But when they are purified in the service of the Lord, they help us in attaining the Lord's lotus feet.
But Mataji, Vedai Bhakti in the initial stages is more ritualistic only, no? We have to follow the rules and rituals.
Yes.
Rules, I mean rules and regulations.
Yes. So here there is more explanation, Mataji, because this aspect what they are trying to say is comparing between those what are those Smartha Brahmanas doing things in a ritualistic way. So they're
Oh.
saying what the devotees, for us already the goal itself is fixed, that we are trying to practice so we can become devotees. We are trying to do this out of force to become devotees. But they didn't start only like to do for like those Brahmanas in the Yajna Patnis. They were doing that ritualistically, not with
Oh.
love for Krishna. So that point is brought up.
Yeah, and maybe that last line which said when it is faithfully done, right? The last
Ah,
line, so that we are endeavoring to that faithfulness while
yeah,
doing the regulations.
yes, exactly.
Gayatri Mataji.
By the mercy of the personality of Godhead and by association with his devotees, sages who take pleasure in the self can give up their attachment to the impersonal supreme and enter the path of devotional service.
Association of devotees.
Leela
The
Mataji.
Lord's personal energy grants those liberated souls spiritual bodies of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And with the spiritual senses thus acquired, those souls worship Lord Hari.
One can attain the state of satisfaction in the self merely by abandoning false ego. Those who understand the Supreme Lord in scientific truth think this very easy to do. Lakshmi Mataji.
Even though liberation and its effects are natural byproducts of devotional service, devotees do not regard satisfaction in the self as worth taking, for it abstracts pure love of God.
The final fruit of devotional service is prema, in which by its nature one will never be satiated. Saintly authorities deem self satisfaction the most unwanted secondary fruit of prema.
So self satisfaction is compared to like I'm just happy in my own self, that kind of that merging in the Brahman. So that constant comparison is being made that no devotee wants to be self satisfied. He's only focused on developing the prema or the devotional service to the Lord in bhakti.
Ritu Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat
Hare
Pranam
Krishna.
Mataji, only I am hearing.
Okay, okay. Sashikala Mataji, please then.
Yes, Mataji. There's no reason to be unhappy if someone attains self satisfaction without devotion to the Supreme Lord. The leaders of the saintly Vaishnavas consider such an occurrence very good.
So Jana Mataji is not there. Vasantaras Mataji.
Or from another point of view, purify of heart, which is the cause of satisfaction in the self, may come about from performing one's prescribed duties. And this, after all, is a kind of devotional service. Thus, the result that comes from the external form of devotional service is paltry, and from the internal form, sublime.
So here one point they're trying to make, like in Tapaloka, Maharloka, they're all trying to do that meditation, right? And they are trying to have that purified mind. So he's saying it's good. It's fine if they can get that mind purified and develop devotional service. That's well and good. The platform is already ready to move on further. So they are encouraging anyway, get purified and get into devotional service. Just don't stop there. That's the point being made.
Vallavi Gopi Mataji.
After achieving impersonal self satisfaction, some begin worshipping the Lord's lotus feet, and without hardship, they quickly obtain the abundant happiness of being fixed in devotional service.
This is the point. Like after that, get on to the Lord's lotus feet. Yes.
Sirisha Mataji. Neetu
In that
Mataji.
devotional happiness, the person who is the person perceived the varied perceptions and the sensory functions that serve in those perceptions all manifest themselves in various ways.
Neeta Mataji.
The happiness felt in impersonal samadhi is plain, isolated, vague, and limited because in that samadhi, the functions of the mind have ceased. The object of meditation appears in the active mind. That object is more vividly manifest, like sunlight reflected on a crystal mountain.
Payal Mataji.
Thus, the happiness found in devotional service is much greater than in the liberation born of samadhi, and by the mercy and sweetness of the Lord. So, the affectionate to his devotees, that devotional happiness expands.
Richa Mataji.
That extraordinary happiness is always one, yet it assumes many features. It stands in contrast to the happiness of impersonal liberation. Devotional happiness is made of the intense sweetness of sporting pastimes in the highest devotional service to the Lord. Persons unfamiliar with this pleasure cannot even imagine what it is like.
Yes.
Neeru Mataji.
Although Lord Vishnu is always one and unchanging, at every moment he brings forth hundreds of newer and newer varieties of transcendental charm, both, both in himself and in his devotional service. He does this by his personal energy, inconceivable to everyone else.
This manifold charm, sweeter than the sweetest, is found in Sri Vishnu's supremacy as Parabrahman and his lordship over all that be. His charm displays the very limit of his most excellent compassion towards his devotees. For them, his charm lifts to the highest stage their experience of deep oceans of sweet ecstasy, ecstasy that ridicules the pleasure derived from realization of impersonal Brahman. So 220 we will stop.
Should I read?
Yeah, yes, go ahead, Mataji.
The Lord expands abundant variety to enrich his devotees forever with enjoyment in these exuberant waves of sweet ecstasy. And just as, even though he is devoid of every kind of material trait, there is firm and constant variety in him, so in his devotees there is a strong and varied and wonderful experience in all the functions of the senses.
There is 20 more verses to finish this chapter of Jnana. If you want to go ahead, we can quickly just read. If no, then we will stop. I'll listen to whatever you all say. So we are in
Yeah,
30.
let's finish it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Amrita Nandi Mataji.
May Krishna protect you. His opulent power is eternal, and eternal are his infinite varieties, and his beauty, and his worship, and his companionship with his servants. He is the personal form of the eternal absolute, the one without a second, who lives in the eternal world.
Jai.
In this very gentle, supreme nectar of devotional service, the intelligent find no use for harsh and thorn like logic. Still, we have spoken this discourse to induce those who are attached to impersonal liberation to begin devotional service. And we have spoken to give pleasure to the neophyte devotees of the Lord.
So they're saying that we did not go deep into bhakti. We have just given you the difference. So it is just started. So there's more. But they're not going to explain more. Yeah.
If you have indeed realized the pettiness of liberation and want to attain the treasure of firm faith in pure devotional service to the Lord, then simply worship your transcendental mantra. And please hear this great secret, which is pleasing to the heart.
Outside the egg of the universe, which extends for 500 million yojanas, are 8 covering shells, each 10 times thicker than the one before.
So he's going to say something beyond that loka. Yes.
By crossing beyond those shells, one reaches the abode of Lord Mahakala, Mahakala, the imperishable abode where material existence disappears. It is called Mahakala Pura because there all material causes and effects are non-existent.
So we are now going beyond the material creation. Yes.
Anita Mataji. Anita Mataji. Sashikala Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Lord Mahakala's personality cannot be described, but wise sages somehow describe him. He appears with form or without, in accord with the various mentalities of his worshippers.
Santaras Mataji.
The Lord's servants whose desire take them to Mahakalapura see him there in their hearts as the concentrated form of the absolute truth.
So whatever form whoever wishes, that Mahakala personality manifests that form to that devotee.
Vallavi Gopi Mataji. Vallavi Gopi Mataji, you there?
Can you read Mataji? She's crying and
Okay,
reading.
okay, yeah.
Sorry.
So, Sirisha Mataji.
And so, by the potency of your transcendental mantra, there you will directly achieve the complete fulfillment of your long cherished desires.
Because he's worshipping Madan Gopal, he's saying, so you will see Madan Gopal there because of that mantra's effect. Okay. Neeta Mataji has left. So, Payal Mataji, would you like to read?
If you do not wish long time here, then just go to your Vrajabhumi in Sri Mathura. Comment.
Yes, yes.
Some residents of Lord Brahma's planet are completely free from material desires, and some are not. At the end of the Brahma's life, those who still have material desires return to lower planets, and those who are desireless attain liberation along with the Brahma. Brahma's life, however, lasts for two paradhas. Paradha, the very lifetime of the universe, and Gopakumaras may not want to wait that long to graduate from the material world. The supreme material powers and enjoyment available on the Brahmaloka delay the attainment of the Supreme Lord's kingdom. But if Gopakumara descends from the Brahmaloka to the place on the earth where Sri Krishna sports, Sri Vrindavan, Govardhana, and so on, all his desires will be quickly fulfilled.
So here is the twist. So he's saying, see, if we all go to Brahmaloka, we have to wait so long till all our lifetime finishes to go on to the next, graduate off from that place. But this Bhumi, this place where the Lord manifested his pastime, Sri Mathura and Brajabhumi, is so potent that it will get you, we get onto the elevator. So that is what is being told here, and the greatness of Brajabhumi is explained.
Richa Mataji. Richa Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji. Sri Gop Kumara said, O Mathura Brahman, these words of the scripture greatly strengthened my devotion for the Supreme Lord, and this thought was born in my heart.
Neeru Mataji is left, Mataji, so
Okay.
Hemanga Mataji.
Here I have gained in person as my own father, the Lord whose devotional service is so great. Why indeed should I abandon him to go elsewhere? Gopakumar now understands that Mukti is Bhakti's maid servant, and that Bhakti offers inconceivable bliss. So all that we have to remember is Mukti is Bhakti's maid servant.
Mataji, I think we missed Neeta Mataji in between. Neeta Mataji, are you there?
She left.
I thought Neeru Mataji left. Neeta Mataji also.
Mataji sent a message in the chat saying that she left. Yeah.
Okay.
Orangi Mataji, go ahead. It's okay.
Sorry
Verses.
When my mind was thus perturbed, that Supreme Lord Himself, the reservoir of mercy, who knows what takes place in everyone's heart, visited me and spoke.
So he's having that etiquette. He doesn't want to just now chant the mantra and go back to Vrajabhumi. He's having the etiquette that he has to take permission from the Supreme Lord, the Mahakala Purusha, Mahapurusha.
The blessed Lord said, "Go to Mathura, to your dearest pasturing grounds, to the land adorned with many places of my varied supreme pastimes."
Jai. Now he got the blessings.
Though a long time has passed since Lord Brahma himself prayed for birth as a blade of grass in Vraja, that land now appears the same as then.
So that means he has come down.
There you will again meet your Guru, most dear to me, and by his mercy you will be empowered to understand everything in full.
So
Now again the Guru.
Guru has to intervene for higher what movement above the material zone.
Indeed, you will soon come see me in person in Mahakalpura. There you will attain extreme bliss that will enchant your heart.
So see, the Lord says, "You will see me." So the Lord knows He is in His different forms here and there everywhere. So that is so sweet.
By the power of my mercy, you will wander about freely and enter into hundreds of amazing wonders.
Jai.
After some time, dear son, all your ambitions will be satisfied, and you will play with me as you like in Vrindavan.
Mm.
Shikala Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Sri Gopakumara said, thus overcome with both joy and sorrow at the Lord's command, by the power of my mind, I at once came to this beautiful Vrindavana.
Jai. So we end here. He has reached down. So we will meditate on that Maha Kala Purusha who's going to go next. And I'm wondering like how he's saying he's going to play actually like as if in Vrindavana. Means why should he leave that Mahakalapura and go where next, right? This is really amazing. Any reflections, Mataji's?
Mataji, can we little bit discuss Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan realization
Yes,
for
please.
at least my benefit?
As you say. Go ahead, Mataji. You know more, so I'll listen.
No, Mataji, I want to hear from you.
Hare Krishna. I don't have any realization. Just that as we are reading and what we have heard, that difference between the soul and the super soul, that we are very we are very insignificant. The more and more we realize that we are very, very, very infinitesimal. But the Lord is the great and He's Vibhu, He's so magnanimous. And in Nanda Mataji was saying in the class that so we can think that if we are so insignificant, what does it matter if we do devotional service or not? He has so many servants anyways who are really loving. What does it a big deal if one drop does not go to the ocean? So Mataji was explaining that that is his love. So how Krishna would play that flute and he would call every cow and every calf to come running, and those did not come, he will personally go out and bring them back. So that is his love as a father. Like no father wants any of even one of the kids not coming back. So in his point of view, we are very significant. From our point of view, we may think because of our own, Mataji explained, saying that because of our conditioning and our fallen nature and laziness, she said all these things. we use those terms to say, so what it matters if I don't do Aarti? There are so many doing Aarti and offering to the Lord. So what if I don't cook a feast for Govardhan Puja? What does it matter? That is our lazy mind giving all those excuses. So that's my realization or sharing, Mataji, that the personal worship is for our benefit, but the Lord loves that every jiva exchange, that personal exchange. And we are just 1/4 and there is 3/4 up there. So we are just a few lost kids. Everybody else is back with the Lord actually. So he is more eager and intense to bring us all back. So that's my only hope at this point. Sorry, I didn't answer directly, but this is what came to my mind.
Thank you, Mataji.
Shri Gaurangi Mataji, Leela Madhvi Mataji, Vasantrasa Mataji, Vallapi Gopi. Please share.
Mataji, I'm so lost. I was just thinking devotional service. See, ultimately, not Mataji's question, but like devotional service is the aim, right? And how it's emphasizing the point on how joyous devotional service is. Just a thought came to my mind. I have only got a glimpse of devotional service, right? So even to understand the magnanimity of the joy that devotional service gives, that we I have not got that. Only by hearing the comparison that, okay, this the impersonal realization, or impersonal merging and samadhi state. So I was just thinking, Are, we the little only that we get, we feel joyous, right? Like whatever glimpses that we get in bhakti, that only gives us so much pleasure. The samadhi state must be definitely higher what we have got. That was what
Yeah.
I was thinking. That is why they stay in that state, right?
Yes.
So if the scriptures are telling that that samadhi stage is only constant, it is not um, the parakashta, as they said, right? The parakashta is bhakti. So when we reach that parakashta stage, what it will be?
That's how Maharaj said in this recent. I was just hearing in our Vrindavan Yatra. So Radha Gopinath Prabhu shares that there was an intense time, really intense situation in the ashram in Gopinath, and everybody was so tensed. And they go to Maharaj's room, and Maharaj was sitting very casual, as if nothing happened. And first thing they saw was like, how can he be so not affected by what was actually happening? And when they asked, Maharaj said, there is only one reality, and that one reality is that Radha and Krishna standing under that Kadamba tree along with his gopis. That is the only one reality. Everything else is illusory and this will pass. So he said, focus on that. What is real? So Radha Gopinath Prabhu was saying that his level of meditation is that he wants to keep reminding what is real, and he wants to be not concerned with what is not real. It is very high stage, no doubt, but somebody is there to show us that what he is meditating every day.
Yeah.
Very high, Mataji, no doubt.
Yeah, but that
Hope is like this Mahapurush is sending Gopakumar down, right, to his guru. That is our hope, that we are all now here in his level, now here down. So I am just waiting now, how will his guru direct him and how he is going to follow to go above or move forward in his journey. Yeah. He said Brahmaloka is not fit, like it's too long of a time. There you will just feel happy just being there. So I'm thankful that all that thoughts, even the thought level desire now will not come to me. Like I just want to be free. I just want to be happy. Those thoughts will not, hopefully not hanker me or come back to me, because I think there is something more higher that the bhakti can give me that I should aspire for.
true, Mataji.
Mataji, I have a realization.
Yes.
I'm gonna share. So by reading this, we can understand. Okay, in some one of my devotee friends, she asked, why this devotional service are very difficult. So why we should do normal bhakti to Devi ji, or or Ganesh ji, or we should go there and then we can practice there for Supreme Lord. In that time I was not able to answer, but this is the answer, right? If we will think like that, if we will go for some heavenly planet, and then we can do more bhakti to supreme, to attain Supreme Lord, it is like impossible. we we will we will enjoy, we will lost there either, or we will enjoy there and we will come back. So yeah, this is clear to me.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I just remembered one Chaitanya Charan Prabhu in one of his, I think, Ishopanishad classes, he was mentioning this differences between Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan realization. He said if gulab jamun is being made at home and it's being made in the kitchen and you are somewhere in another room, so you can smell the gulab jamun. That is first level of realization. He did it very graphically. Actually, I could be there. And then he said when you go a little closer in the kitchen and then you see the gulab jamun brown color, then they are soaked in the sugar syrup. That is the second level of realization. Basically, you get to know gulab jamun more. So uh, over and above his the smell, now you know the texture, how they look. So this is the second level of knowing gulab jamun. So that's how progression of knowing Bhagwan, like from Brahma to Paramatma. And then third level, he said, when you taste the gulab jamun, that is when you get Sat Chit and Anand, all three together. Basically, you completely know the gulab jamun now, the fragrance, the flavor, the look, everything.
Jai, I really want to eat the gulab jamun the way you described it. It is really so sweet.
And then also in Ishopanishad, I was reading that I'm trying to remind myself because I keep forgetting that, and I forget and then I become confused again. So in Ishopanishad, it was mentioned that, yeah, so when we are in material consciousness and after doing so much enjoyment, we feel, okay, this is all temporary and there should be something higher. So this is all asat and there should be one sat above us. So that is Brahman realization, that we start believing, okay, there's something beyond us, higher power than us, higher power. That is what becomes Sat realization. That's when we come to the Brahman realization. And then it was mentioned, what was it? See, I forgot again. Just now I remember.
It'll come.
So yeah, and then when we realize that he stays in our heart as Paramatma, in our, and he's the one who is guiding us. So that is when Sat and Chit together come as Paramatma. So when we have this realization that Paramatma is within everybody, we get that knowledge. So that's why Chitta, that knowledge that Paramatma is in everybody also is in our heart as well and guiding us. That is when Sat Chit together and Paramatma realization happens. And the third thing is, okay, we are satisfied. We know that he's the supreme above us, that is Brahman. And we also know that he's within everybody. That's another realization. But we are still not feeling the bliss because we are not in devotional service to him. So when we do we come to that realization, that is when we have the bliss as well. So Satachit Anand together, that will form the Bhagwan realization.
Very sweet, Mataji. This example is really sweet. Wow.
So yeah.
Satchit Ananda.
Madhuri, sorry, I got disconnected in between.
Welcome back.
Mataji, only I am facing this internet problem, and or even other Matajis.
No, Mataji, you got disconnected today also, no? In between.
Yes, Mataji. Every day I am disconnecting 2 or 3 times. I don't know. So it's my internet problem. Or you are all able to connect, right?
We are all here. Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mataji, I will check. I don't know from last 1 week it is happening.
Krishna. Priya Madhuri, Mataji, anybody else wants to throw some light on realizations?
Mataji, can I share
I like.
that?
Yes,
Go ahead,
darling.
Mataji.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So while we are reading that it came like Mukti is a servant of Bhakti, right? So related to that one, Prabhupada quotes in the purport the verse from Krishna Karnamrita. It says, Mukti Swayam Mukalita Anjali Sevate Tshmat. So it says, Bilvamangal Thakur wrote this verse actually. I'll read the translation. O Lord, if I am engaged in firm devotional service to you, then I can very easily perceive your divine youthful form. And as far as liberation is concerned, she stands at my door with folded hands, waiting to serve me.
Wow, this is so nice. Yes. So, like, it just gives us more hope that bhakti is higher than mukti, to make that point. Thank you.
No, Mataji, I'd always heard this statement that Mukti is a maid servant of Bhakti, and I always used to think, where is this written? It's such a major statement. Where is it? I got to know this.
No, as you're saying, I'm feeling like I badly need a maid servant. There is too much work at home.
Yeah.
Priya
Yeah.
ji.
I don't. I'm not qualified to say anything. This is all so high stuff.
Simply, I will do my service and I will do whatever that I can do, Mataji. The mukti, bhakti, this is all like in top of the ladder. Maybe I'm searching for the ladder right now.
I like that you're searching for the ladder.
Ladder.
We are
And
taking you in the
Mataji,
elevator, so no
and
ladder
Priya
now.
and Mataji, I am following all of Mataji and then just listening and hearing and then talking sometime, but not too much, knowledgeable kind of way to talk. All Mataji's like, just that is my bhakti. I don't know what kind of mukti I gave it for the Krishna give me.
Mataji, I want to
Yes.
add that whatever Nainasundari Mataji said, Yugaksha Prabhuji will always give the train example. First the sound comes and then when you see the light, bright light will come and then you can see the train like that. The three, whatever she said, the gulab jamun thing, instead of gulab jamun, it's train.
Yes, true. Like when that gulab jamun I like in the sense because I can feel it.
Taste
The taste to the rasa. The train, I'm like, okay, I know the train.
I also like that gulab jamun example because normally it is related to the sun planet, the sun rays.
The
So that is all
mountain. Yeah.
above and beyond. Sun is only above and beyond sun planet, sun rays. Gulab jamun is at least relatable.
I know.
It's all
Diwali
in
also
one
coming.
One more thing I remembered about liberation, Mataji. I heard long back Govind Prabhu's class. He was talking about Aghasur, and there were questions that Aghasur attained liberation after he was killed by Krishna. He attained that liberation. It's mentioned. So he's saying people must be wondering, Aghasur had such envious mentality. He came to kill Krishna because his other brother and sister, Bakasur and Putana, I believe, they were killed by Krishna. So he came with that envious mentality, and still he got liberated. So do we also, think like that for Krishna? Then also we will get liberation. So he mentioned very important point that for Krishna to give us liberation is very easy to do. I mean, what we are doing right now, liberation will anyways come to us. Then he talked about how this is, I mean, we should not even aim for liberation. And then he said more important for us as bhaktas is to make sure that we are leaving a legacy behind. Basically, how our behavior is, that will encourage others to take up this devotional path of devotion. So are we leaving a legacy? Liberation to aana hi hai. For Krishna to give
Like
that
now
is,
we had that, like it's
ha.
anyway, above us also you are going to get liberated and beyond that.
So that was very important point for Krishna to give us. It's such a like a chutki wali cheez na, chutki mein de denge wo to. But हमारे लिए क्या important है? We should not be, जैसे he was also mentioning that we have heard so many times if we do this parikrama we'll get this much, So we hang कर कि अच्छा एकादशी है ज़्यादा rounds करेंगे. Normally we won't think, that is Karthik hai, that day I was hearing Amarendra Prabhu class. He was telling, okay, Purushottam Adhik Maas ki Ekadashi means so much more benefit,
So
right? We
much better.
calculate in our mind.
True.
So he said Krishna is not like that. For him to give you liberation for such small things, just like that. But what is our mentality? Hamari wo calculative mentality. But we should raise above. And he's saying how Krishna Aghasur ko itna sab karke bhi just because of one moment of pleasure that he gave to Gopas within his body when he gave pleasure to Gopas, for that one instance he gave him liberation. So he said that should be our mentality, that how cruel we are to people. जब हम थोड़ा सा ज्ञान गेन करने लगते हैं, we start thinking, no, we are high, what are these people doing? We become so rude mentally, verbally. So he's telling leaving a very good legacy is very important.
Yes.
That is what we should learn from Aghasur.
Yes, Mataji. I agree, Mataji. You are right.
And at this point, actually, Akuti Mataji, the wife of Dinabandhu Prabhu, she goes on book distribution. And when I went with her, she said, I couldn't take the places that she was going to, the drunkard places and the smokers. I couldn't even take the smell. I was looked good. And she was going with full force. And I said, Mataji, how do you do this? I just want to go back home. I can't stay. Can't take it. That smell was too strong. And she said, they have just forgotten. Our duty is just to remind them about Krishna. So I'm just reminding them. I'm not doing anything more. So her consciousness was always that so fixed that she's only reminding them. That was like, oh my goodness, I can't even take it. Krishna.
Mataji, this Gopakumara pacified me, Mataji, actually. So you are not only one who wants to jump here and there. So really, Mother, I'm feeling little okay. Okay, I am.
He's helping us now to stay in one place after all that jumps. So he'll show us what is the best place to stay back.
This pacified me a lot. Thank you, Mother.
So we'll end. It's 7:30. So we'll meet again tomorrow with the next chapter. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha
Divasya kripa sindhuraya
Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavi
Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki
ki
jai.
Shri Gopakumar ki jai.
Jai.